Hi, welcome. Today we're interviewing Hethyr and celebrating her progress. She's a graduate of my 16-week Jumpstart program. And I'm so excited to have you with us, Hethyr, to talk about the program so that you can help others see what it's done for you and see if this is the right path for them. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
So the first question I want to ask you, can you talk about something specific, measurable, like outcome that you got from the program that really was meaningful to you?
Yeah, actually, I have two that came to mind right off the bat. So the first one is I had been on, well, when I joined the program, I think I had been on crutches for about 7 or 8 months at that point, from torn tendons and a neurological condition that had set in on top of that. So I was pretty frustrated with being on crutches for sure. It did take some time, but I actually just was able to get off my crutches in January, and I've been hiking, I've been doing yoga. So it has been immensely helpful. And, it definitely helped me heal my foot. So that's the first one. And then also, I feel like one of the, maybe not necessarily physical things, but one of the more mental things for me and emotional things for me is that it's really given me the willing, or helped me find the willingness to see myself and my health as my number one priority. Before it was always, I have to do this, I have to do this, it was just this to-do list all the time of things I had to do, including owning a business and all the things that go along with that. And I think that my involvement in the program really helped me realize that immersing myself in work 100% of the time was not at all helpful in my healing. And so really being willing to kind of shift my perspective and making myself a priority, and not always feeling like I always have to be working. So I actually gave up my self-employed business in order to continue my healing path.
So I want to ask you something else on that, because you come from a very unique situation where you are a healing person yourself and very attuned to nutritional eating and mindfulness and all that. And I know a lot of people look in this program, they're like, oh, I'm gonna have to make all these changes, but they look at somebody like you who's already been on that path. Can you clarify, like, how did this take you a little bit farther from where you were already in a very healthy mindset?
Yeah, I guess, I did kind of have the food thing in place. I do yoga, I meditate, I do pranayama, breathing exercises, things like that. But it really was the slowing down that you suggested, and that really the program works on, having you slow down and really see things for what they are. And I think that I was moving through life at such high speed before that no matter what I was doing to kind of help myself heal, I never was able to slow down enough to give my body that opportunity. And so I think that, really the emphasis on slowing down and doing things that you enjoy, as well as healthy things, I really do think that that was probably kind of the catalyst that helped kind of push me in that direction a little further.
Awesome. So Hethyr, can you tell people a little bit about what your situation was like before the program?
That's a great question, and one that how long do you have? So I had a lot of issues before joining the program. I actually have had chronic Lyme disease for 22 years now. I wasn't diagnosed until 2012, so it was something that I dealt with for a long time before I even had a diagnosis. So chronic Lyme disease, I have a lot of autoimmune type things that go along with that, a lot of neurological things that go along with that. Like I had mentioned, I was on crutches for probably 6 or 7 months when I started the program. I was overworked, I had adrenal fatigue, hormone imbalance, you name it. So I feel like that was kind of my situation before the program. Yeah.
So why was it so important for you to fix this when you did? And what was your big motivation to join my program?
So I spent years trying to heal using many different modalities and tools. And I honestly think that I was just tired of being too tired to live my life fully. And so that was kind of the push that, had me looking for a different way or an additional way of trying to heal. I had actually spent a lot of time in isolation even before COVID, due to that neurological condition that had set in my foot that just would not heal. And I think that I had just gotten so frustrated with the isolation and not being around people and not being able to do the things I love, that it really kind of pushed me to look for something else. And I found you.
Great. So can you talk a little bit about what you did try before my program that either didn't work or worked somewhat?
Absolutely. So first of all, probably back in about 2007, I think it was, I started working with Western medicine doctors in just trying to get a diagnosis and find out what was wrong with me because I had such chronic pain in my body. And I was only around 30 years old at the time. So it just really didn't make a lot of sense. And so Western medicine was my first shot. And I had pretty much zero luck with that, honestly. I went through probably half a dozen doctors, and living in Colorado, everyone told me, and literally one doctor literally said to me, "You're crazy," and anybody else is going to tell you the same thing. At that point, I was like, never mind with Western medicine, I'm going to find a different way. So I had, at the time, I had a chiropractor suggest to me that I start trying yoga and that I look into getting my medical marijuana card. So for a couple of years, that was how I just managed the pain. Not to say that I healed necessarily from that, but in helping me manage the physical pain. I also, like I mentioned, breathing exercises, yoga, meditation, really anything that I could try, I was willing to try. And while some of those things I think helped a little bit, it definitely was not all that I needed. And I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but naturopathic medicine was kind of what got me, I feel like, on a healing path. So that was probably about 2011 that I had a friend suggest a naturopathic doctor to me.
Awesome. So how did you find me and what brought you to this program?
That's kind of funny. So you were actually the guest speaker for a pain management program that I was taking. And I had been considering functional medicine for a really long time, but every time I would look to find a doctor, it was like they were all in Boulder or Denver and how do you pick a doctor just not knowing anything about them? So I'd had a really hard time finding a functional medicine doctor. And so it's really funny that you showed up at that program that day because I feel like you found me.
That's funny. So, what was the first thing I told you to do in the program, and how did you feel about that?
I think, and I was kind of thinking over this the other day, I believe that it was mostly ordering the medical tests to kind of see what was going on biologically. And you had me start the elimination diet. So I was, no stranger to elimination diets, but this one was a little bit different than ones I had done in the past, not quite as restrictive as some of the ones I had done. I honestly felt really great about those things right off the bat because while I had had many medical tests in the past, I don't necessarily feel like they were very comprehensive, like it was looking for one single thing here or one single thing there. And so I felt like what you had ordered for me was just more comprehensive and well-rounded. And so I felt really excited that it might actually tell me something a little bit more than the tests I had done in the past. And the elimination diet, like I said, I actually felt really good about that because it wasn't quite as restrictive as some of the ones I had done before. And so I almost felt a little bit more of a sense of freedom than I did with a lot of the other elimination diets I had done. I've always felt immensely supported through this program.
Awesome. And lastly, what take-home message can you give the people listening out there about if they're thinking about the program or thinking about functional medicine? What kind of take-home message can you give them?
I would say keep on trucking. First and foremost, and advocating for your own health. I feel like that was really something that I had to learn on my journey is, if a doctor told me that something wasn't wrong, well, the doctor knows, so I just have to listen to the doctor. And what I found out in the many years that I've been going on, that I've been kind of on this path is that you have to advocate for your own health. If you know that something isn't right, something probably isn't right. And so, really just keep looking, keep going, ask for help when you need it, treat yourself as a priority. You're totally worth it. And I think that sometimes that can be hard to see when, doctors are telling you that nothing's wrong and in your heart that something is wrong, something isn't right or isn't balanced. So keep advocating for yourself and keep making yourself a priority.
Awesome. Thank you, Hethyr. I appreciate you being here today. And this has been great to watch you through your journey and celebrate everything you've done.
Absolutely. Thanks again for having me. I'm really excited that I got to share.